Hello and welcome back again. So we are back again, implementing business and products, business modeling part, and now I will be talking about the key resources part of the business model canvas. So key resources, again, pretty straightforward. What do you need to perform the key activities to deliver your value proposition? Again, there are different categories of key resources. Of course, the most straightforward one that you can easily think about is, of course, the human key resources. You need people to run your company, to do your designing, to prepare your food, to, whatever. However, again, the thought is always about what are key resources and maybe not so key resources. And that's also, you see that often in companies, the key resources they own and maybe less key resources, like for instance the catering or the cleaning, they hire the people from externally, or other things through a job agency. Things that they don't find key are less important in that sense. But there's other types of resources that are important in being able to deliver your value proposition as well. There can be physical resources, there can be intellectual resources, and also financial resources. So if you look at the example of a car manufacturer, the physical resources are really in the facilities. This can be buildings, but also robots or other specific things that they have, that they use to produce the car. Then there's intellectual property, patents, but also like a customer database or a built-up knowledge database. All these things can be in terms of intellectual property, key resources to delivering your value proposition. There are special skills, so a designer can be a key human resource, but also, interestingly enough, other people. And then there's financial resources. If there's a lot of money in your company, you can also use that not just for the company, but also, for example, to provide low interest loans to boost sales, or to acquire partners, etc., or to have a specific position in the market. So these are the four types of key resources. Why is it actually important to identify these key resources? Not just for where you are at a specific moment, but also looking to the future, because most businesses have the intention to grow. And then it's really important to know or identify what would happen if your sales or your turnover would double. What would that mean to your business? So if for delivering your value proposition you have a one-on-one relationship with human resources, that would mean you would hire twice as many people. But if you're producing something and you just let your 3D printer or your injection molding machine run at double speed, double capacity, then there's a lot less that you need to do to double sales. So your key resources is very important to know how they relate to delivering your value proposition. If you look at something that you might not think of in terms of a business model canvas, but at IDE, we are quite getting nervous about the number of new students that have applied to join IDE next year, because we are really based, our key resource is humans, the teachers. I don't know if we can double teaching staff, because the new people would also need training, if we double our amount of students. So we would really need to work on that. So it's really important to know what are your key resources, and not just at the moment, so to take care of them, but also in terms of looking towards the future, in terms of growth, how do they relate to the growth of your company. One thing to slightly mention is patents, because in terms of intellectual property, they can be a big resource, but it doesn't, it's not, for smaller business, it doesn't happen so often. But here's an overview, it's a little bit older, about the top 20 US patent holders, and you can see clearly how ICT-related businesses are on the up, and you can see that the overall number of patents here, you can't see it that clearly, but from almost 3,000 for IBM to almost 6,500, has the overall number has grown a lot over the years. And I'm going to talk a lot about patents, but if you want to know more about them, I have a lot of background knowledge, and I can tell you a lot more. But they are not the only type of intellectual property that can be relevant. Things related to design or a brand or a customer database. All these things can be taken as intellectual property that can be a really key resource for being able to deliver your value proposition. So just a few more examples. So if you have specific high quality that is long lasting, and maybe your product is also more expensive. So yeah, as an example, I have a Dyson Hoover, but it's about 4 or 5 times as expensive as a normal one. People can be ready to willing to make that investment, but don't have the money for it. Then a loan plan can help those consumers. Especially with cars, loan plans have been enabling consumers to buy cars. So there, the financial resources that the company must have, or work with a key partner, are enabling consumers to buy into the value proposition. So, and then there can be double values. So your designer does not only design, but if he's a top designer, the label of designed by such and such can also be a value factor. If especially with the fashion brands, one of the top designer moves from one brand to another, that has an impact on the value for there. So yeah, as a key resource, they want to keep it. Well, of course, you know, maybe from materials and manufacturing, or more modern manufacturing facilities can also mean that you have an advantage in time to market, bringing your product to the market quicker than your competitor, which can also be part of the value proposition, that you are always delivering the newest to the market. So all these different types of key resources can relate to the value proposition in different ways. So as I said before, keep iterating and work with the canvas. That's it for today. Thanks.